In March 2021, the documentary film Pacific Lockdown premiered around the Pacific region, highlighting the challenges faced by island communities as they quickly shut borders to prevent COVID-19 from entering their nations. As the world grappled with the worst pandemic in 100 years, we admired the resilience and humour of Pacific Islanders telling their stories in a very personal way. We followed 4 of them as they shared their hopes and fears via their video diaries. There's Dorothy in Papua New Guinea, organising a feast to remember her brother, working with women's groups and observing how Vanimo town was preparing for COVID outbreaks. There's Brian and his wife in Samoa, worried about their relatives in America, but whose faith was helping them to get through hard times with a smile. Nazia in Fiji had to close her businesses there and focus on getting to India with her husband Roy, a star football player. And finally Leo on Yap Island in Micronesia, a tattoo artist who made everyone laugh with his attempts at gardening, cooking and fishing. So where are they now, 2 years since the start of the pandemic and a year since we released the documentary? We caught up with Nazia and Leo for an update.
Hi, it's Nazia and we're now in March 2022. I can say that a lot has happened in the last 1 year. This time last year I was on my way back to Fiji from India, and then when we arrived in Fiji we were whisked straight to the quarantine facility. You come back and you're not able to be greeted by people, to just see people's friendly smiles because everything is hidden behind the mask. When I was in quarantine, it was around the time I found out that I was expecting, and being in a hotel room for 2 weeks and not being able to go out, it was a little challenging. The virus just spread in the community and then around the country, and we reached the thousands. We hear about women, being pregnant, going to hospitals, not getting the support that they need from their families because, you have to be on your own, you have to be, strict about COVID guidelines. I was nearing the time where I couldn't fly when the vaccine was made available in Fiji. So in August, I flew out. I couldn't get into New Zealand because of their strict quarantine guidelines. So I had to fly out with my husband to India where he works. So I got here, I was still not vaccinated. I stayed indoors the whole time until I gave birth. And thank God we didn't get COVID at the hospital. I had a girl, and so then we joined my husband's bubble. And that's where, early this year we were exposed to the virus and I became COVID positive, and so did my husband. I got really sick. I had very high fever and I was, really having trouble breathing. Since then, I've had my first dose of COVAX. I'm due for another one in a week, so that after I'm double vaccinated, then it's easier for me to travel. Looking back on life before COVID and even now, it feels like it's gotten worse. But at the same time, I feel like we're at a stage where we're at a crossroad where things are getting better, but we just can't tell because we were at this stage last year. I eventually sold not so much the business, but the business, the equipment and all the assets of the business, because I by middle of last year I just realized there was no way of recuperating. and everything that I had lost. In the meantime, I'm just enjoying being a new mom. My daughter is just almost 4 months old now. I really want to go back home and then just provide that sort of nice, warm environment, with the family, and sort of catch up with everybody, because it's been a very lonely experience for me and my husband. It's been challenging.
Hey there, it's me again, Leo Pugram, here on the beautiful island of Yap. It's been almost a year now since I've done my last video diary about life on Yap during the COVID pandemic. Since the last time I did the videos, nothing much has changed, to be honest. We've been lucky that we still have no COVID cases here on the island. Nothing much has really changed, except for a few things where there's a few offices and buildings that you got to go in. You are required to wear a mask. Except for wearing masks, everything has been the same since the last time I did a video diary. Meaning we still don't have incoming flights. You can fly out of Yap like once every month, but coming back to Yap is not guaranteed, and you got to get on a special list, and I'm not even sure how you get on that list. I haven't done much tattoos also because we don't have any tourists on the island, and most of our staff at the hotel, O'Keefe's Waterfront Inn, have stopped working, because we didn't have any guests. And as you can see, the hotel is empty. Usually we have a lot of guests. Usually we have all the rooms are booked. I was doing my video diaries and I said that I was working on a garden, my first garden ever, because I had so much free time. And I had this idea of starting my own garden, which I did. I started my garden, and the problem was, I said I was going to start a garden, and I said I was going to work out, get in shape. But I think that was just like a New Year's resolution type of thing, because if you look over here, that's my garden right there. It is overgrown with plants and vines and stuff. Here we are at St. Mary's Elementary School, and I'm helping these guys. Well, actually, I'm just looking around. Usually been doing after work. Usually there's projects to be done, and with my friends, so I'll go see my friends. We'll do projects like this, like helping out with St. Mary's School, or the other week, I went to my friend's house, and me and my cousin helped him, build a local hut for him. But we've been lucky here in Yap. We've been so lucky that we do not have any case of COVID.
As we enter the third year of this deadly pandemic, we've seen outbreaks in some countries that have managed to keep the virus out, such as Kiribati and Vanuatu, while others are starting to reopen their borders again to tourists, like in Fiji. It's becoming clear that we'll have to live with COVID-19, but this is only safe when every country achieves high vaccination rates and follows the health advice. Pacific nations will have to invest more in health systems and food security, while at the same time they work towards their economic recovery. The Pacific has done well as a region compared to much of the world, and we have good reason to be thankful. Dorothy, Brian, Nazia, and Leo are all staying positive, using their unique mix of faith, family, and a bit of farming to continue getting them through to the other side of COVID-19.